Hello my friends. Today is a little bit of an interesting video. It's going to be another flip through of a completed journal. I just completed this journal on the 25th or the 24th, and I started it on the 11th. And if you remember, I started a journal on the 1st of this month and finished it on the 11th too. So volume 38 and 39 I actually completed this month, and the month is not even done yet. Let me tell you why this is a little weird, or why it's just me, I guess. I can usually tell when I am kind of writing a high and then I'm going to be dropping into a low because I write a lot more. So I already finished the completed, I already did the completed flip through. And so now, and I don't know if you've been watching my channel, you know that Exceed journals, they have quite a bit more pages than other journals, which is why sometimes I don't really like journaling in them. Whereas 230 pages in this journal. And now if you're familiar with my channel, you know that I don't go out of my way to fill pages. I just write. And if I've got to write 20 pages a day, then I have to do it. So I'm going to do a flip through of this journal, and I apologize if I don't sound as, upbeat as usual. I am, the past 2 days have been very low for me. So filling up these two journals was kind of the going up in the roller coaster, and especially finishing this journal before the end of the month, I kind of knew that I was going to come falling flat back on my face again soon. And so I'm 2 days now into being flat back on my face. So I'm not feeling too hot, but I set a timer so that I could clean this desk off because it was just horrendous. And so I told myself that after I cleaned my desk off with the timer, I would film this video and then maybe I would feel better. So here we go. So as you see, I have another sticker on here from Alicia and another sticker from Baum Cohen, two of them. And this is volume number 39. So this was just a piece of a magazine that I ripped out because I liked the bee. My index from February 11th all the way to the 24th. I documented where Russia invaded the Ukraine. I have my pen and ink log. And I also made sure that this time I had the swatches as well. So here we go. Actually, I'm gonna put some chapstick on my fingers. No, that's weird, but it will help me turn pages. All right, so the first page in ink that I started out with was Kala Nostalgia Sierra Mist, which is one of my, it's not really showing up as it really is here. It's one of my favorite inks. I really like it. And then I used Pilot Eroshizuku Murasaki Shikibu. And I have this little guy in here because I'm using, or what I was using to write with was the Clear Pilot Kakuno that Heather Mattern sent me. And I really like it. And the next ink was Shunryoku from Pilot Eroshizuku as well. And right here too, here we go, is Diamine Prussian Blue, kind of leftover. I had some inks and pen that was left over from finishing my last one. Here is Harlequin Vaudeville, Vintage Inks Harlequin Vaudeville, and it was written with such a thin nib that you really couldn't see the sheen in any of the words, but that's okay. I'm kind of used to that with writing and not being able to see the sheens so much. I used some of the shimmer watercolors that Heather sent me. I don't know if you can see the shimmer. They're really pretty when you put them up over top or over other pages or other watercolor pages. This was a little note that I wrote for myself that on the 13th I wrote 3 pens dry, my Twisby Eco, my Lamy Safari, and my Retro 51. This was more Harlequin Vaudeville. Very boring. And then I went back and was working on finishing up Sierra Mist and my Lamy Safari. I tried to draw it and I drew it upside down. Yeah. So putting chapstick on my finger didn't help. I've been drinking the tea that Heather Mattern sent me, which is delicious. I have actually I've really enjoyed the little the tea bag thing where it has a little quote there, and I loved it so much that I actually bought a box myself. Here is more Prussian blue. Let me grab it. It's such a pretty, like, foggy blue color. I really like it. And that was a sample that Jen sent me from Artfully Jen, and I am considering when I purchase ink again, considering buying a bottle. And here we have Diamine Ancient Copper. One of my favorite inks too. I was having problems with my pen. My pen leaked and it ended up being a problem with my nib unit. And then my nib unit got stuck and I couldn't get it out. So my husband, I watercolored on a little page and kind of wrote a prayer. I've been praying a lot more lately, trying to write down my prayers. I tea stained some pages. It actually started by accident. I dropped my tea bag. And then I tried to do morning mindset manifestations. And that was fun. And it was very interesting. So I might try to do those as well again, of course, in my regular journal. More Ancient Copper. I covered up a explicative in here. This ink was not a fountain pen ink. It was just a regular gel pen that I grabbed, and I was, yeah, I was very hard on it. So you don't need to see all that. So here we go, back to Ancient Copper. And this right here is actually Diamine Oxford Blue, but I don't have a swatch of it because I only have it in cartridges. And this was when I tried the Stress Relief Tea that Heather sent me, which I really liked. And this is so funny. Right here, I was singing this song all day by Jewel. My hands are small, you know, small hands. Any other 90s girls, you know. And I found this little picture in my stash of ephemera, and I was like, look, small hands. Yeah. So more Oxford Blue, and I dropped water and all that good stuff. I like Oxford Blue too. It's a good serious blue. Vanilla Peppermint. And here we go, Kentucky Bluegrass, Birmingham, by Birmingham Pen Company. So I do not like this ink at all. I don't like this green. Actually reminds me of the new Kaweco Lilliput green. Not my favorite green. But I filled it up one last time in a cartridge to make myself see if I could like it. And so I wrote with it. And I ended up not liking it at all. And I have disposed of the ink responsibly. And I now have a really nice, clean, fresh, empty bottle I can use for something else. I know you're like, Claire, oh my gosh, how could you do that? Well, just because I did. I'm sorry. Yeah, I tried. Like, I wrote it and I was just like, come on, Claire. Come on. This was a quote that I wrote. Life is a series of moments strung in a line. Feel where you are. There's nothing to regret and nothing to dread. Some days you'll feel satisfied and other days you'll feel disillusioned. The more you The more you feed, the more you feel. Okay, yeah, the more you feed, the more joy. That's right. The more you feel, the more joy will seep into your life. Soon you'll find a new dream that's big and beautiful enough for you to taste. That's when you'll remember how to be bold again. But for today, savor the work done being right here. And still Kentucky bluegrass. And huzzah! I even wrote down huzzah, the green was dry. And then I moved on to KWZ Discovery Green. Now on my sheets right here, this is 32-pound copy paper. And I always swatch on these papers because I don't write on Tomoe River paper that often. So it makes no sense whatsoever for me to have swatches on Tomoe River paper, so where you can see all the beautiness of the inks and whatnot, because I don't write on it. So you can't see the sheen here, but I know it's here. But you can see the sheen in my book. I hope you can see it a little bit. But KWZ Discovery Green, it's one of my favorite inks. I don't know, can you see the red sheen? And I probably use it every month. Now we have Diamine Earl Grey. And Diamine Earl Grey is another one of those colors, like, I don't know if I love it or not, so I'm just going to ink it up every month just to check and see. And here's more Ancient Copper. I've been trying to do more than writing just 1 or 2 pages with ink. Trying to write, 3 or 4 pages with the ink before grabbing the next pen. And more Discovery Green. And these are inks that I'm trying to make myself like. I'm just not a fan of Birmingham Pen Company, I guess. I'm just not a fan of their inks. I kind of like Goldfish. I have a yellow pen that... I have a yellow Wing Sung 3003 that I like putting the Goldfish in. And I like the way it writes in there, so I'm keeping it. But Amber Ale and Stormwater Runoff, I'm just not sure if I love them. Oh, I know I don't love Stormwater Runoff. This is more Oxford Blue. And back to Earl Grey. And we were in a restaurant called Masa Sushi, and we were waiting for our sushi. And so my girls and I were playing tic-tac-toe in my journal. Or sushi masa. This was one of those times when I felt like I needed to write, but I didn't know what to write. So I wrote down the lyrics to Loser by Beck. Yep. I'm a loser, baby. Yeah. More Diamine Earl Grey. And I was also writing about, this is Krishna Winter. I don't have a swatch of this either because this was the last of a sample that I had from probably a year ago. But if you can see that bright pink, that's exactly what the sample would look like. That just dark, bright, in-your-face pink. It's darker than Kazumosu. But I'm sorry I don't have that swatch for you. More Earl Grey. And then here we have Diamine Safari. Another one of my favorite colors, one of my favorite inks. Another Bedtime Tea. This is one that I just bought recently. I bought it the same time that I bought the other tea that she sent to me. Where did it go? The Traditional Medicines Nighty Night. So now I have 2 bedtime teas that I like. And sometimes I'll pull out a poem from one of my little things that I have that I ripped poetry out of. It was like a book and it had mold all over it, but there were still some pages that were good, so I took the pages out that had poems on them that were still good and that I liked, and so sometimes I like to paste them in my journal. More Krishna Winter. And Diamine Safari. And another, I'm going to be drinking another of these tonight too. The tea is calling and I must go. My daughter made me a fidget toy out of 3 tips of rubber glove fingers and white felt. So she made me a little edamame fidget toy and it was so sweet. I actually took a picture of it and put it on my Instagram. Yeah, I couldn't believe she did that. That was just, she's very thoughtful. And this was my oldest daughter. She actually did an acrylic painting of our cat Ghibli and gave him like one of those anthropomorphic cat pictures and gave him like this frilly Victorian ruff, and she made it like, you know, anyway, it was really good. It was quite funny. More Earl Grey and Krishna Winter. And here we have Pilot Uroshizuku Konpeki. And I started using my Hita stickers. All of the stickers that you see that I use in here are stickers that I have and that I just want to use up, including washi tape. I would like to use up my collection, and then maybe after my collection is done, maybe get some more small things that I've, you know, that I've taken a liking to, but not much. But that's a while into the future. Oh, look at that. I licked my finger and then I smudged my paper, which I think I keep doing. More Diamond Safari. And more, I don't know, can you see that Sheen? Sometimes my softbox just isn't soft enough, I guess. And Konpeki and more Hita stickers. They're so cute. I will definitely get more Hita stickers because they're adorable. And this was a watercolor that my 10-year-old made for me. And by this time I was like getting to the edge of my book and I was like, oh, I started to realize that I wasn't feeling well. So I watched a video on how to dopamine detox, and I kind of made the little dopamine thing there. And I want to be a real author. Just talking about my book and editing it and things that are going on with that. I got a package from Glade Pens. This is Shinryoku. And I kind of knew I wasn't doing so well because when I got my shipment, like, I wasn't happy or excited about it. I didn't really care one way or the other. This is Writer's Blood, which was one of the samples that I got. Come here. Diamond Writer's Blood. It's really pretty. I don't know if I like it enough to get a bottle of it, but I like my little sample. And I wrote down something that Heather Madden said: why can't everyone, mystics, Christians, Muslims, Jews, and all of us, create magic? It's in all of us. And I even made a note to watch again Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium. I watch a lot of YouTube when I'm like up. When I'm down, I don't really watch so much. I kind of stay quiet. These were, I am so sorry if you hear my cat. She is in heat, and we have an appointment to take her to go get unheated, but it's not time yet. So she is just so loud, and it makes me want to throw a pillow at her. But then I'm like, I know she can't help it, but then why do you have to be loud at my door? You know what I mean? Like, go somewhere else and be loud. My daughter painted these with acrylics. So here's more Shinryoku and Discovery Green, and then that was the end of this journal. So out of 230 pages, I journaled on 226 pages, and I left those last few pages at the back, as I do in all my journals, so that over time I can come back and look back in on my journal and make notes about how things have changed and that sort of thing. So that's 2 journals that I completed for this month. Just February 1st to February the 24th. 2 of them. So I hope you enjoyed this little flip through of my Exceed notebook. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments and I will do my best to get back to them. If you enjoyed this video at all, please give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. And if you would like to help my channel grow in any way possible, then I would encourage you to visit my Ko-Fi link, which is in the description, and leave me a little tip in the tip jar to let me know I did a good job. Thank you so much, guys, and I wish you awesomeness and fantasticness.